Hey guys, Gary here. I want to kind of show off a strategy that I've been working on a little bit. We're testing it. This is the TrendGrid strategy. Um, we are still working on it, but um, actually I was playing around with it. This is a point that I kind of want to show eventually, is how that works. But what we're looking at is TrendGrid is in a trade. And I don't know if it's going to win or lose this trade. I mean, I'm on live market. I'm not doing a replay, um, and I'm just trading against Sim 101. So I don't know if it's going to win or lose. Um, Frankly, I'm not trying to showcase a bunch of winning trades in order to lure you into purchasing this. Um, there's a lot of different options here. For somebody starting out, this may be a little bit more of an advanced strategy. For somebody who's really good at trading and knows how to manage this could be awesome, right? So everybody's going to be different regardless. So I'm not going to show you a bunch of winning trades that you can't reproduce. So I'm just going to show you the tool, and if you love the tool, great. Um, so what we're looking at here is TrendGrid. It is in a short trade right now. The trade entered somewhere around here, and it's so far it's added twice. It's just taken profit on one of those. So now we're in three contracts, and the original order was two contracts, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the strategy here. I'm gonna go ahead and close it just to kind of show you some settings. Um, so we have some settings here. Let me kind of go over all the lines that you saw on the chart real quick, which were moving averages, and one of them was VWAP. So the green, red, white lines, those were different moving averages, and then the yellow line was a VWAP. In this case, they were all EMAs, but you can change them to whatever you would like. Not a big deal. So this is what I'm saying. It's really customizable, right? So what my trades are versus your trades versus somebody else's trades could be completely different things, right? And that's okay, because I'm going to optimize differently than the next person and so forth. I may have different risk tolerances, all of that. So this is a quote unquote fully automated strategy. It's a grid system. I highly recommend that you watch it. I don't recommend setting and forgetting any of my strategies ever. That's a very bad thing to try to do. Um, but this should help you manage your trades at least, right? So, so we have an entry method. Now that I showed you what those lines were, we have the concept of an entry method, which is the mode that the strategy is using to detect the trigger for entry, right? And this is based off of these EMAs down here. So we have all correlated, the fast and slow moving average being correlated, fast, medium being correlated, and the medium slow being correlated. What that means is both of those moving averages are based off of quote unquote crossovers. One is more than the other ones, right? So all EMA all MA correlated just means it's applying all three of these rules at the same time. And then um, you can choose which one of the rules is there. So fast and slow, for example, means that the fast EMA has to be greater than the slow EMA for a long. And then vice versa, fast EMA has to be less than the slow EMA for a short. So that's what it's looking at here. Um, and then the other settings are just like the same thing, it's just fast, medium, right? Um, we have some additional settings. I will show you what those mean here in just a minute or tell you. And then we had the VWAP filter. The VWAP filter, the yellow line on your chart, just means and if price is trading above VWAP, we're only looking for longs. If price is trading below VWAP, we're only looking for short. Regardless of what the EMAs are saying, right? It's filtering the signals even further, right? Um, the next thing we have is this is a grid, right? It is a trading grid, and what it's doing is when the grid opens, it will open with an initial set of contracts, right? Because you believe you're going into a long with the expectation that the price is going to move up, right? So you start out with two contracts because you have a take profit on that two contracts. Now, I'm not saying this is a grid that goes indefinitely. Those do exist, but a lot of people trading this doesn't have the capital or the leverage to trade a grid that can become indefinitely deep. Gridmaster V1 went indefinitely deep, and we've blown so many accounts like that. While, you know, grid and concept, if you had unlimited amounts of capital, would be an awesome, concept. But not everyone has deep pockets like that. So we're trying to maximize what we're capable of doing. I can't guarantee anything, right? Uh, but this is more of a directional grid that will have some parameters that you can adjust, and you can set your risk tolerance on that grid. So we have the initial order quantity of 2, and that basically says go into a trade. In these settings right here, saying go into a trade, set the profit target to 80 ticks, right? Now every 40 ticks, the price retraces against me, add 1 contract, right? That's what it's saying. Every 40 ticks, add 1 contract. If I get up to 5 contracts added, right, 5 grid levels, do not add any more. Instead, throw a stop loss 80 ticks below my last entry. Um, that's what this is saying. Now there is, so basically whenever this retraces 40 ticks by default, it will actually add a take profit for this 1 contract that is adding. It'll add set a take profit of 40 ticks from where it was added. There is a checkbox up here that changes that default behavior, right? If we check that off, it will add the take profit of this additional contract to the initial order quantity. Um, it's just moving that around. It says stop, don't worry about that order, add it to the other order, the existing order. That's what it's doing. So if we actually disable this, I've got the settings set up to, I'm not even trying to optimize, I'm just literally just grabbing settings just to showcase how this thing works, right? So if you notice here, I turned on the strategy, it's seeing a short grid, it's immediately in, everything's correlated, so perfect. Um, so we're in. This may not be the best trade ever. The best trade ever would probably be right when everything correlated the first time, which is right over here. So this would have been my entry, and but I turned it on a little bit late, which is fine. But what we see here is price can retrace. It will add to the position if it retraces this 40 ticks right here. We have a take profit right here. We have the max depth of 5 levels, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then 80 ticks away from the last level is our stop loss. We entered in with an initial order quantity of 2, and we're adding 1 contract per level. When this order gets filled in the current settings, it will actually set a take profit for that 1 order, 20 ticks away, which actually happens to be right on top of our entry line in this case. So if it adds to that order, it may or may not. It's fine if it does. Um, then that's what will happen. And so the other setting says instead of adding that limit order, right? Um, then add it to this limit. That's so there's that limit order. We DCA'd, so the average entry moved. But so that's really what the strategy. Oh, we just took profit on that one. It may add it again. So when we take profit, because that grid level has been cleared, um, we reset, we do it again, and we do that over and over and over throughout a grid, right? So that's where grids generally can make some money, is by that oscillation pattern in within the grid itself, right? So uh, so adding it to the initial order just means basically you don't have to deal with that oscillation pattern. You get filled into it, then you'll take the full profit. It's entirely up to you how you want to trade this. It's it's customizable to your liking. Um, so this is TrendGrid. It's a bit different than V1. I'm probably going to modify V1 quite a bit, regular grid master quite a bit, to have all of these options that we see here. Um, so that's why I haven't actually released Gridmaster V1 yet. I just got my vendor licensing just a few days ago. Um, so this is the TrendGrid that I've been working on for a little while already, but I think I'm going to end up rewriting the traditional Gridmaster to include all of these options. Or I may end up combining the traditional Gridmaster into this particular strategy and adding a chart trader button to have the mode, right? Your actual trading mode, whether it's a trend grid or traditional grid. Um, so with that being said, um, I hope you like what you see here. We can kind of go over to our website here. Um, so this will be part of the full automation suite. Remember, all my tools will be sold in a suite. Um, we are currently quote unquote beta testing this. We've been testing it for a little while, but there's still a couple kinks that we're working out. So we've been testing it for just a wee bit, and we've got just a little bit left. It's not much. Um, so I can't guarantee the release date. Hopefully within the next week or so, we'll have this out. And then news borders, I haven't heard of any bugs yet from the beta test, so hopefully this comes out next week as well. And then I would also like to get one of the semi-automation bots, probably Button Grid, uh, ready to go as well very soon. That way we at least have one thing on each level of packages here. Um, now um, I think I've thought about it a little bit as far as pricing, just for the first little while. I think my first probably several customers, I'm probably just going to set the pricing for indicators to 20 bucks a month. Semi-automation, probably somewhere around the $50 a month, and then the full automation to 100 bucks a month. Just for the first little while until we get a buildup of more tools, right? Because until we have more tools, it's not as valuable as I imagine it can become. But if I change pricing later, or when I do change pricing, the customers um, that subscribe earlier on will likely, as long as they maintain their subscription, will likely continue to be grandfathered into the pricing that they subscribe for, right? So later on, when I increase the pricing, um, and I don't know when, that could be 6 months from now, but I want to make sure that we have enough tools here that I feel comfortable that you guys are getting a great value. Um, so that said, probably 20, 50, and 100 bucks. That'll be the three packages. I want to go ahead and get at least one item in each one of these. Um, so I think tomorrow I will show off button grid. It's a traditional grid. So tomorrow or the next day I'll show off button grid, and then I think we're gonna try to release uh, news borders, button grid, and train grid all next week. Um, and then Gridmaster I could also show off and release that all. This would be the V1 Gridmaster as it stands today. Um, so so yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.